Hello and welcome. In this session, we're going to look at the flow of control in MATLAB programming. In any programming language, the ability to control the flow of data is essential. In MATLAB, this is done using three kinds of loops. We have the for loop, the while loop, and the else if loops. Now, we are going to start by looking at the for loop. A for loop is a repetition control structure that allows you to efficiently write a loop that needs to execute a specified number of times. For example, you start by writing for I is equals to 1 to 8. This means that I will learn by starting with the value 1, 2, 3 all the way up to 8. Now ki will be equals to 2 times I. This is what is to be done by the loop. So in this case, we specify that I will have the values from 1 to 8, so that this loop will run 8 times. So when we run the loop, what will happen is that I will take the first value. So I will take the first value, which is 1. And then the loop will compute k1, which is equals to 2 times 1, which is 2. Then I will go now to, after executing this, to go back here and increase the value of I now to 2. And compute k of 2, which will be equals to 2 times 2, which is 4. And then repeat the same. So I is increased to 3, and k3 is computed, which is equals to 2 times 3, which is 6. Now this one is repeated until I takes a value of 8, so that k will be taking a value of 16. So in this case, we can see this in MATLAB. If we write here for I is equals to 1 to 8, and then we have ki is equals to 2 times I. So when you learn this one, k will take the values. K will be computed as 2 times I. So k takes the values. Maybe I should put the output here, k, and learn again. So we see k takes the values from 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on, all the way up to 16. This is the for loop. Now, so in this case, the number of times that the loop executes is determined in advance. The other kind of a loop is the while loop. A while loop does not execute a number of times. It depends with the condition that you specify. So while loop will repeat until the condition that you specified becomes false. So we write, for example, I is equals to 1. We want to start with the value 1, and then we say while I is less than 5, then ci is equals to I plus 1, I times 2. Then we have the statement here, I is equals to I plus 1. If we execute this, initially I has a value 1. So I will be equals to 1. Then you come to this step here. The loop will check whether 1 is less than 5 and find that this one is true. And so it moves to the next step here to compute C1, which is 1 times 2, and this is 2. Then the next step here, I will increase now. I was 1, so it now becomes 1 plus 1, which is 2. Then the loop checks whether 2 is still less than 5 and find that this one is true, and so it computes C2, which is 2 times 2, a value of 4. This one continues until when I is equals to 5. When I is equals to 5, when you come to this and check whether 5 is less than 5, that will be a false statement. That is, when I is equals to 5, then the condition will be 5 is less than 5, which is false. This one is false. So when the condition is false, the loop will exit. So that the output here would be 2, 4, 6, and 8. It will not go to 10, because at that point, when I is 5, the condition specified here is false. So that's how the while loop will execute. And maybe we can write that in MATLAB. We can demonstrate that. I'll create a session, then I write, for example, I is equals to 1. Then I write while I is less than 5, ci is equals to 2 times I. Then I is equals to I plus 1. That statement is important because if the value of I remains 1, then the condition will always be true, and the loop will run infinite number of times. So I want to output C. So I run this, and I'll get C is something is, oh, I wrote 2 times 1. This is 2 times I, not 1. So I run, and now I see 2, 4, 6, 8. If I put the condition here to 7, then I'll see more values when I run. I'll see more values because now it will execute until when C is equals to when I is equals to 7, that's when it will stop. So I'll have more values up to 12. So in this case, this is how the loop stops when the condition specified becomes false. As long as the condition remains true, then the loop will continue to execute. So the other kind of a loop is the else if statement, the else if loop, or if else. Normally we write else if. Now if else statement executes a code or statement block only when the condition specified is true. It is a conditional programming keyword used to give conditions to the MATLAB program. Now, the statement has 3 parts. We have the if statement, the else if statement, and we also have the else statement. So, if the first expression or condition is true, then the if statement will execute. However, if the first condition is false, then the next statement will execute, which is the else statement, or else if there are more than one conditions. So when there are multiple conditions, we shall use else if. We have an example here. We have an input x. We input a given number, and then the loop checks, is x less than 5? If you enter a value like 4, the value x will be less than 5, so the first condition will execute. So the output will be the number is less than 5. But if you enter 5, then 5 is not less than 5, so the loop will pass to the next condition here to check whether 5 is equals to 5, and it will find that that one is true and display the output as the number is equals to 5. Now, if you enter a number like 7, the first two conditions will be false, so the last condition here will execute. Maybe I can just copy this one and have it in MATLAB and then check and see what happens when we run this one. So I'll go to MATLAB session and I'll put a section break here so that I can have a new section. I paste that one. I want to run and enter a certain value. So when I run this one prompts me to enter a value. I will enter 4. When I enter 4 and press enter, 4, the first condition executes that the number is less than 5. But if I run the same again and enter value 5, now the first condition will not execute because 5 is not less than 5. It will find that to be false. So it will check the next one. Is 5 equals to 5 and find that one is true. So what I execute is that the number equals 5. This is what we have here. If I run again and now enter a value like 10 is not less than 5, it is not equals to 5. So it will pass to the last condition here, the number is greater than 5. So when I press enter, the number is greater than 5 executes. Notice that I can put this one as else if, and then put a condition, x is equals to 6, and then put here in this line, I put the number is the number is 6. And then I could put now the else, and put the spelling is wrong there, else, and put the condition as the number is greater than 6. Sorry. So when I learn this one, now I have more than, I have added more conditions. So if I type 6 and press enter, maybe there is some error somewhere. The number is 6 is output, but there is a problem here. I should have done that way. So let me run again. I put 6 and the output is the number is 6. If I put 7, I'll get the number is greater than 6, and the last condition will execute. So basically these are the commands, the flow, how we can use the flow of control in MATLAB. Sometimes, especially if you are using the while loop, it is possible to have a loop that runs infinite number of times. If you find that your loop is running infinite number of times, then you need a way of stopping this loop so that you can check the error. So there is what we call the abort command. So if a MATLAB file appears to be running for too long, then it may contain what we call an infinite loop and may never terminate. So in this case, you can get the control of the typing again, of your MATLAB session again, rather, by typing what we call the Control C. You press the heart button, which is the shift followed by 6, then C in the command window. This, once you enter this will interrupt the running of the program and returns to the command prompt. So this is basically the 3 kinds of loops used in MATLAB, and you're going to stop at that for this session. Then in the next session now we are going to look at the applications of these loops in solving some problems. So thank you for listening.